Level 1, the weather enthusiast. You're 16 in your parents' basement in Ardmore, Oklahoma, eating Takis Fuego with a fork so the red dust doesn't get on your weather notebook. In 20 years, they'll call you when a mile-wide tornado is bearing down on Dodge City, Kansas. But right now, you're just a kid who named the folder on his phone Storm HQ, a bold title for a beanbag chair and a garage sale barometer. Then one night in May, the sirens go off and your whole family goes down. Basement, mattress over the heads, the drill. You go up, out the window, onto the porch roof, in your socks, and you see it. A supercell stacked over the whole county like a spaceship, lit green and purple from the inside by lightning that never fully stops. A wall cloud turning slow and enormous right over the Sonic on Highway 77. Hail bouncing off the neighbor's above-ground pool. The pressure dropping so fast your ears pop, and you are not scared. That's the part you'll never be able to explain to a normal person. The entire state is under a mattress, and you are on a roof, grinning like an idiot, dead certain for the first time in your life that this, right here, is exactly what you are for. Then you see Marcus. Your neighbor 3 streets over, same age as you, standing in the middle of the cul-de-sac with a tripod, calm as a weatherman, filming the whole thing. When it's over, he walks up, looks at the notebook, looks at the socks, and says, "You know you're facing the wrong way, right? That was just the rain-free base. The tornado dropped on the other side. You had your back to it the entire time." Then he turns his phone around and shows you the footage. You felt defeated, spending the best 4 minutes of your life pointed in exactly the wrong direction. Level 2, the amateur Stormchaser. You're 19 now. You did the free Skywarn training 2 Saturdays in a community college gym in Tulsa. Folding chairs, a retired meteorologist clicking through slides, and a box of Shipley's donuts that were gone before you even sat down. You take it dead serious. You buy a weather radio, a handheld GPS, and a phone mount for the dashboard. Comes to $340, which for you is 6 weeks of groceries. And you are already living on banquet pot pies and the good graces of your mother. You join a chase group online. First convoy, you drive 5 hours to Amarillo to meet them. 12 trucks, 15 people, half of them been doing this since before you were born. Nobody says a word to you. You're standing there in a Walmart poncho holding a gas station monster like it's a business card. These are Yeti cooler people. You brought an Ozark trail. They can smell it on you. Storm goes up east of Lubbock, right where the models said. Convoy rolls out. You're 3 trucks back doing 70 on a 2-lane, watching a wall cloud drop out of the sky in your passenger window like the mothership in a movie they hadn't made yet. Then the storm turns. Little jog to the right. The veterans catch it. You don't. The convoy scatters like roaches when the kitchen light comes on. You take a wrong fork onto gravel. Hail starts coming down the size of golf balls. And you do the exact one thing every single person in that gym in Tulsa told you never to do. You pull under an overpass. Truck pulls up next to you. Old boy in a Dickies jacket rolls down his window, looks at you like you're the dumbest thing he's seen since breakfast, and says, "Get out from under there. An overpass will kill you faster than the tornado." Then he drives off. And here's the thing, he's right. And you didn't know it. And you got a certification in your glove box that says you did. The funnel crosses right where you were sitting. 400 yards north. You hear it through the closed windows, that freight train sound everybody talks about, except nobody tells you the train never leaves. It just sits there roaring like God running a leaf blower directly at Oklahoma. Meanwhile, Marcus is 3 miles south, perfect position, filming the whole thing in 4K, posts it that night. 80,000 views. Tags the Weather Service, calls the path width and the rating before the survey's even out. And the National Weather Service, a federal agency, hits the retweet button like a teenager. Your footage? 4 minutes of hail and a grown man breathing hard. Your mom watched it. She said it was very exciting. She's lying. She's a saint, but she's lying. You drive home 10 hours in the dark. 3 chips in the windshield, tire light on, 180 in gas, and a quick trip to keto situation you will not be describing to a doctor. And none of that is the part that's eating you. What's eating you is that before that storm turned, you were standing in exactly the wrong spot, and everybody knew it but you. Marcus knew. The Dickies guy knew. You still can't read the thing under the thing. But you got 3 weeks off booked in May and the cheapest motel in Woodward that isn't technically a crime scene. Marcus has been studying hotographs since he was 14. You just learned the word last Tuesday. Level 3, the field observer. You're 23. 4 seasons in. You got the advanced Skywarn cert now? You volunteer with County Emergency Management. You got an ID badge on a lanyard, and you wear it to places that do not require an ID badge. Browms, for instance. You wore it to Browms. The job is simple. You watch, you report. Wind, hail, rotation, whatever you see. You call it in. They log it. They say thank you. They do not ask what you think, which is good. Because for the first 2 years, what you think is usually wrong. You are a data point with a used Ford Ranger. You learn the lingo. Rotation at 35.8 north, 97.4 west. Miso moving 230 at 25 knots. You strip all the wonder out of your voice on purpose, because the weather service does not care that it was the most beautiful thing you ever saw. They want the number. You give them the number. 2 years, 34 storms, 34 clean reports. A meteorologist emails you one day and says your reports are clean. That's it. That's the entire compliment. Clean. You printed it out. Marcus is not out here doing this. Marcus is running paid tours out of Norman. $600 a head, ride in the truck, catch a tornado or your money back. Booked 3 months out. He got a production assistant. 40,000 YouTube subscribers. A dashcam company mails him free equipment. You got a laminated card that gets you 20% off a chicken fried steak in Lawton, and you use it, and you are not ashamed. Same roads, same storms. The difference is Marcus knows what to do with the footage, and you know what to do with the numbers. And not one single person on this earth has yet mentioned that those two skills are supposed to live in the same body. May 3rd, EF3 north of Wichita, 62 miles on the ground. You're 10 miles east, first spotter to call the path width 800 yards. They put your observation in the official damage survey. You're in there as field spotter number 4. No name, just the number 4. Your mom prints that out too, puts it on the fridge next to the first one, right under a magnet shaped like Texas, even though you have lived in Oklahoma your entire life. Nobody in that house knows why we have the Texas magnet. It predates you. It will outlive us all. Cost you 6 vacation days, 3 sick days, and $4 grand you did not have. Your girlfriend asks when this becomes a real job. You say you're building experience. She asks what the experience is for, and you got nothing. You are standing in a Browns parking lot holding a frozen yogurt with no answer to a completely reasonable question, wearing the lanyard at Browns for no reason. September, a chase operation out of Oklahoma City posts a job. $90 a day, May through June, needs somebody who knows the protocols and can drive next to a tornado without crying. You apply. They call in 4 days. For the first time, you'll be in the field professionally for 6 weeks. You wonder if Marcus ever did the grunt work like this on the way up. He did, 3 years ago. Then he quit the second he had enough footage to sell, which, and it physically pains you to admit this, is exactly the smart move. Marcus is always making the smart move. It's the single most irritating thing about him, and there's a lot of competition for that title. Level 4, the Stormchaser. You're 27. You work for a real operation now. 3 trucks, a meteorologist on the radio, 2 spotters a vehicle, and a satellite tracker that reports your location every 30 seconds, whether you like it or not so. For the first time in your life, somebody always knows exactly where you are, and it's a liability lawyer in Oklahoma City. You carry an anemometer, 2 cameras, a laptop with dual radar, and a satellite phone the size of a paperback. None of it is yours. The truck is not yours. They remind you of this every single morning like a prayer. You will not damage the equipment. Amen. May 20th, EF4 in central Oklahoma. Your meteorologist puts you in the forward flank to measure the inflow close, but not stupid close. Then the rear flank downdraft wraps around faster than the model said, and you got 40 seconds before the whole thing closes your only exit. You're on a dirt road. You don't wait for the radio. You call your own abort and you floor a company truck through a wheat field. The tornado crosses your parking spot 15 seconds after you clear it. Rear camera catches 3 power poles snapping at the base, 1, 2, 3, like the world's saddest dominoes. And on the radio, cool as a quick trip fountain drink, you say, "We're clear." Continuing north. Inside the truck you have sweated clean through a Fruit of the Loom undershirt and a Magellan fishing shirt. And you will later discover a Slim Jim you do not remember opening, fully unwrapped, in your left hand. You have no memory of the Slim Jim. To this day, the Slim Jim remains the great unsolved mystery of your life. Marcus is on the same storm, positioned east where you should have been filming it in cinema quality with a remote control camera he had custom built at a shop in Tulsa. He's on the news in 4 states by midnight. You filed a report, a PDF. Nobody has ever cried at a PDF. You cross paths 3 times that season. He's polite about it. Pulls his convoy over so yours can pass. Shares radar over the frequency. When you both want the same road, you argue on the radio, and it's civil, and it's pointless, and you both know the other guy might be right. The Weather Service likes your data better. Marcus knows your data makes his footage look legitimate. It is the most functional toxic relationship in the state of Oklahoma, and that includes marriages. June 4th near Enid, you nail a multi-vortex crossing empty farmland 108 mile/hour inflow, sustained, clean, reproducible. A scientist at the University of Oklahoma calls your boss a week later just to ask how you set it up. First time in your life a scientist called about something you did. You celebrated at a Whataburger off I-35 at 2 in the morning. Just you, a patty melt, and the fluorescent hum of achievement. 16,000 miles in 6 weeks. 44 straight nights in a motel or the truck bed. You can identify a Loves versus a Flying J by smell alone, in the dark at a dead run. Your season contract pays $4,800. Marcus billed $18,000 in the same 6 weeks. He mentions it at a gas pump in Weatherford like he's telling you about a sale on socks. You nod. You get back in a truck that isn't yours and you drive it gently so as not to damage it. Then September, the OU researcher calls back. There's a grant. They're building a sensor array. Somebody's got to drive out in front of a tornado and set down soft as a baby. And they saw your Enid numbers. And they want to know if you're interested. You are. God help you, you are so interested. Level 5, the tornado tracker. You're 31. You work for a university now. On paper, you're a field operations coordinator. In reality, you drive somebody else's very expensive truck into the path of a tornado and set down equipment that a man with a PhD designed in an office with a Keurig and a standing desk. The truck's a modified Ford F-250 with sensor pods on a steel rack, a 360 camera on the roof, and a live uplink to a server in Norman. Cost $140,000. You know the exact number because you sign for it every single morning like you're checking out a library book that can kill you. You are not allowed to damage it. You have now been not allowed to damage things for 8 years. You have never in your life owned anything worth damaging. Marcus went independent. Runs his whole own show, 3 trucks, 6 full-time employees, a separate camera crew that turns his raw footage into content before he's even out of the storm. 2.1 million subscribers, cable network deal, documentary series, the whole 9. He texts you the premiere date. You watch 20 minutes in a Motel 6 in Guyman and fall asleep in your boots. Just in boots. The one genuinely nice thing you own. You slept in them. You cross paths constantly now. Same corridor, same months, same goal, maximum storm, maximum data, minimum death. He blocks your deployment lane, you argue? You mess up his angle, he argues. There's a real resentment in it neither of you will say out loud, and underneath the resentment there's respect. And underneath the respect, there's the fact that you are basically the only 2 people on the entire planet who understand each other's exact specific flavor of insane. April 15th, weird little low spins up twin tornadoes east of Woodward. You're both set for the main one when a satellite vortex, a second tornado, a bonus tornado, nobody ordered this, drops on the south side. Your meteorologist calls the move east. You go. Marcus's lead truck goes. But his support vehicle, 3 people in it, doesn't clear the track in time. Vortex crosses the road. Busts a mirror, dents the bed, cracks the back glass. Nobody's hurt. This time. 90 seconds later, Marcus is on the radio describing the whole thing in the same voice you'd use to order a number 3 combo. Cameras were rolling. Got it from 3 angles. You finish your job. You write it up as SV2 with a track and a rating. You do not write down that Marcus was in it. That goes in a safety report only the insurance people read, filed somewhere between a fender bender and a lawsuit. That night, diner in Woodwood, Marcus sets down his coffee cup and says, "I know what you think. You think I'm reckless." Then he says, "The difference between us is I know exactly how reckless I'm being. And you sit there waiting for the moment where you fire something back at him. It doesn't come. You just eat your patty melt. Because what are you going to say to that? The man is not wrong. The man is describing a business strategy. You order pie. You do not answer. Contract pays $62,000 a year. You haven't slept in your own bed more than 2 weeks straight in 3 years. You know the square footage of 14 different Oklahoma motel rooms and the exact spot in each one where the Wi-Fi works, which is always, without exception, The bathroom. The 2013 season's being forecast as exceptionally active, which is meteorologist for very good, which is chaser for somebody's not coming home. You're already mapping your plan. Marcus already announced his on YouTube with a countdown timer and a sponsor read for Liquid the 4th. The season starts May 1st, Level 6, the Extreme Stormchaser. May 31st, 2013. The 9 a.m. briefing says high risk. 45% tornado probability from Enid to Oklahoma City. The models agree something big is coming. What the models do not agree on, what the models have absolutely no idea about, is that the atmosphere woke up that particular day and chose violence. Your team sets up east of the I-40, I-35 split by 4. Marcus is working south of the city. You can hear his meteorologist on the shared frequency calling out numbers. He's positioned right. You're positioned right. Everybody in the state of Oklahoma is positioned exactly right for the storm that exists at 5 p.m. At 6:09, the El Reno tornado is on the ground and doing something no tornado is supposed to do. 2.6 miles wide. Widest one ever recorded. It doubles in size in under 5 minutes and turns south while it's still moving northeast, which, if you know anything about how you're supposed to escape a tornado, is a cheat code. Your GPS says the center is 3/4 of a mile north of you. 90-mile-per-hour wind. You can't see the road. You hit a barbed wire fence, blow the front left tire, and stop in a ditch outside El Reno with a $140,000 science truck and a half-finished Brown's cup still in the holder. You turn off the engine and you listen. And that freight train sound, the one you first heard at 19 under an overpass in the Panhandle, the one that never leaves, it's right there, to the north, loud enough that you couldn't hear yourself pray if you tried, and you did try. Then it moves east, then it's gone. Then it's just rain on the roof, and you, alone in a ditch, holding a chocolate malt like it's going to do something. Radio's quiet 14 minutes. Then a voice you know from 3 seasons on the same frequency. Marcus's support vehicle has been found east of the track. 3 people in it. Marcus didn't make it. And here's the thing nobody prepares you for. You don't cry. You don't do a single thing. You sit in that ditch, and the first fully formed thought your brain produces, the very first one, is that you never paid him back for a Whataburger he bought you in 2009. $12. That is where your mind goes. Not the man. Not the years. $12 and a patty melt. The brain is a broken machine, and grief is the single dumbest thing it does. You don't look at your own data for 3 days. When you finally do, the truck logged 164-mile-per-hour surface wind while you were sitting in it. You were in it. You just don't remember the number happening. You pull the radar loop and you watch it 50 times. At 6:04, Marcus was in a perfect spot. At 6:09, there was no perfect spot. The thing that separated him from you wasn't skill and it wasn't guts. It was about 400 yards, and a fence you happened to hit at the right time. That's it. That's the whole difference. 400 yards and a Firestone tire that gave out at exactly the correct moment. So you do the only thing a person like you knows how to do with a feeling. You turn it into a document. 40 pages. New abort math. A rule that says if a tornado grows more than 30% in 4 minutes, you treat it like a brand new storm and you get out. You call it the El Reno Protocol. You don't put your name on it. 4 university programs adopt it the next year. Nobody asks who wrote it. You don't say. You let a 40-page PDF do your grieving for you, which, for you, is basically a candlelight vigil. Memorials in July. You sit in the back in the only sport coat you own. A J.C. Penney number you bought in 2011 for a wedding. And you do not speak to his family, because everything you could possibly say is a data point. And nobody wants a data point at a funeral. His YouTube's still up. 2.4 million subscribers. Pinned videos from May 29th, 2 days before, him on the running board of his truck pointing at a cloud, and he looks completely at home. Happiest man in Oklahoma. 2 days out. You take 3 weeks off. Longest break you've taken since you were 19. Then you go back to the field. Of course you go back. What else are you going to do, sell insurance? You thought about it exactly twice. Level 7, the research team leader. You're 38. You run your own team now. 6 trucks, 2 meteorologists, 4 drivers, and 1 graduate student from Indiana who keeps improving your equipment without asking. His improvements are good. That's the annoying part. If they were bad, you could fire him. Instead, you have to say thank you, and you have to mean it, which is worse. The job changed. You used to be the guy reading the radar and making the call by feel. Now you're the guy who built the system that reads the radar and makes the call, which means you go to conferences. You stand at a podium at the National Severe Storms Laboratory in Norman and present a year of data to a room full of PhDs eating complimentary danishes, and you answer their questions in the language of the 12 papers you've now co-authored. You, the overpass guy, presenting to scientists. Life is long and it is strange. Before every single deployment, you walk the team through the worst case. You set the abort threshold 15% tighter than everybody else's. The team thinks you're just careful. They are wrong. There's a fence outside El Reno with your name on it, and they don't know that story. And you are not going to tell it in the parking lot of a Casey's at 5 in the morning over breakfast pizza. The 2020 season, 1,000 tornadoes across the country. You deploy 34 times. You abort 9. Looking back through the radar, 3 of those aborts were completely unnecessary. One of them saved a truck full of people. And the part that will keep you up at night is that you do not know, in the moment, which is which. You just make the call, drive away, and find out 3 days later whether you were a coward or a genius. Every single time. It's like flipping a coin that occasionally kills people, and you're the coin. The kid from Indiana's 24. Built his own weather station before he could drive. Fast reads a signature in half the time your meteorologists do. Modifies your gear and apologizes after instead of asking first. You've told him twice. Keep asking forgiveness, not permission. He nods. Next morning, there's a new modification. You implement it, and you do not tell him that the logic behind it is almost word for word. An argument Marcus made in a diner in Woodward 7 years ago over a patty melt. That is not useful information for the kid. That is just something you carry around now, along with a bad knee and a Whataburger debt you can never repay. A paper you co-wrote gets 220 citations in a year and a half. The American Meteorological Society invites you to give a featured talk. You're the first person in your department to headline without a PhD. Your department chair says so in the intro. You thank him. You give the talk. You wear the JCPenney coat. It has held up. Best $120 you ever spent, and you have spent $4.1 million on radar trucks, so you know from value. Your family's learned the calendar. May and June you don't answer the phone. July you come home and it takes 2 weeks to remember how a normal person behaves in a grocery store. They adjusted. You bring them Buki's brisket and a bag of beaver nuggets every time you pass one, which is the closest thing to an apology you have figured out how to make. November, a foundation calls. They want to fund a next-gen radar program. 5 years, $2.8 million. They want you to lead it, but leading it means stepping back from the field. And you sit with that because the field is the only place on Earth where the math and the actual sky are in the same room at the same time. Everywhere else is just a room. You don't answer them yet. Level 8, the legendary Stormchaser. You're 44. The radar program's yours. 6 Doppler on wheels units, an uplink to 3 universities, and a budget of $4.1 million a year from grants, NOAA, and a media deal where a production company turns your data into pretty documentary graphics. It is the biggest private mobile radar fleet in North America. You found this out from a journalist writing a profile you did not enjoy reading because they described you as weathered. And you are fairly certain they meant it 2 ways. Your name shows up in weather service briefings as a reference. Chasers who started after El Reno quote your protocol in their safety plans like scripture. 2 research trucks got named after you, one at OU, one at Texas Tech that the grad students just call by your last name, like a horse. You found out about the horse truck on Twitter. You did not respond. What do you even say? Thank you for the truck named after me. The grant says the lead investigator's got to be in the field during data collection. That's the official reason you're still out there at 44 with a bad knee. The real reason is you still don't fully trust anybody else to make the abort call when it's genuinely unclear. You trained 6 people to make it. You watched all 6 do it right. Still don't trust it. That's not leadership. That's a diagnosable condition. But it has kept you alive, so you're keeping it. June 9th, EF5 near Wichita. You're in DOW2 collecting data as the thing tightens up. 4:34 p.m. The tornado's forward speed jumps from 15 to 28 miles an hour in 6 minutes. Your abort window by your own rule, the rule you wrote. The El Reno protocol is 90 seconds. You call it. You go east. The road's straight for 4 miles, which is the only reason you're still alive. The tornado's moving faster than your math assumed. You're doing 94 in a radar truck on a Kansas State highway with a debris cloud in your rear view that is gaining on you. And for 4 minutes and 20 seconds, you genuinely do not know if you're going to make it. And you want to know what's going through your head in the most dangerous 4 minutes of your life? A song? A Toby Keith song. You don't even like Toby Keith. Your brain just queued it up, unprompted, at the worst possible moment. Because your brain, as you have learned again and again, is a broken machine. You clear the junction, turn south, and the funnel crosses your old spot 22 seconds later. You pull onto the shoulder, put it in park, and sit there for 2 full minutes with your hands still at 10 and 2. On the radio you say, Dow 2, we're clear, continuing east on 50. The Toby Keith, notably, you keep to yourself. The cable documentary about your program has been out 3 seasons. You watched 1 episode once in a Denver hotel on a laptop eating room service fries that cost $11. You're on screen 6 minutes total, mostly saying the data suggests. The El Reno part is 40 seconds long. Marcus's name is on screen for less than 1. You called the network. They said it was a pacing decision. You said all right. You didn't call again. But you think about that phrase a lot. Pacing decision. A whole man's life paced right out of the edit. Marcus's sister calls in October. There's a scholarship in his name at OU and they're dedicating a wing. She asks you to speak. You say yes. You write the speech 3 times. First one's all meteorology. Second one's all you. Third one's mostly data what he understood. What El Reno taught the whole field about the limits of being right. What the scholarship has paid for. You think he'd have liked the third one best. You're not certain. You didn't know him half as well as 2 diners and a decade of radio arguments made it feel like you did. Your knee hurts when it rains, which in your profession is a genuinely cruel joke. And you got this recurring dream about a dirt road in Oklahoma that dead ends in a flooded field. And you always wake up right before you find out whether you made the turn. Every time. Your own subconscious won't even give you the courtesy of an ending. Level 9, the storm-chasing icon. You're 51. The program's put out 42 peer-reviewed papers, improved 3 generations of tornado warnings, and trained 23 field meteorologists now running their own outfits. One of them, a guy you trained, 6 years running his own program in Nebraska, had a close call in June, pulled onto the shoulder of a Kansas highway shaking, and called you. And you talked him through it step by step from a desk in Norman, because you have sat on that exact shoulder in that exact truck with that exact Toby Keith song. The knowledge finally lives outside your own body. Took 30 years. You've testified in front of a Senate subcommittee about weather funding, which would have flat out killed the 16-year-old in the basement. You consult on NOAA policy. Universities send you their safety plans to review. And most of them already run some version of your protocol, and a few have improved it. And you read every improvement, and some are genuinely better. And you write down which ones because at some point you became the exact kind of nerd Marcus used to make fun of, and you made your peace with that in a Browns, over a malt, around age 40. You're in the field less now. Not a lot less, you still run 3 deployments a year, always in May, but less. More time at the university. More time reading grant proposals and doctoral work and emails that take an hour to write. The field's still the only place where the math and the sky share a room. But the field doesn't need you specifically anymore, and that's the thing built on purpose, and it is somehow both the entire goal and a small daily funeral. Kids come up to you at conferences, tell you they got into this because of you, the documentary, the protocol. You listen. You ask them about their abort plans. Most of them thought it through. One of them, 22, absolutely certain of himself in a way that's either genius or a death sentence. You genuinely cannot tell which has got Marcus's exact energy. Reads a storm beautifully, trusts himself way too early, and you tell him, straight to his face, that confidence is a tool and tools need calibration. He thinks you're being harsh. You know you're being accurate. You've buried the difference, and you know exactly where. The scholarship in Marcus's name has put 18 kids through the atmospheric science program at OU. One of them's on your team now. 28, from Nebraska. And she's got an instinct for multi-vortex behavior that shows up in 3 separate field reviews. She sees the second tornado forming before the radar catches it. Marcus could do that. You've thought about telling her. You never do. It's not useful to her, and it would just be one more person carrying it. And she's already got plenty. She wears the same steel-toe Justins you do, orders the same Patty Melt, and has no idea that any of it means a single thing. May, east of Oklahoma City. You run a deployment on a clean little EF2 crossing empty farmland by Shawnee. Textbook. 12 minutes of beautiful data over 3 fields of winter wheat. Your meteorologist calls it a textbook intercept. You watch the loop after. Clean hook, steady motion, no surprises. And you think, yeah, that's what it's supposed to look like. That's the one nobody makes a documentary about. That's the good one. Machine works. Data uploads. You call the team. Good work. See you next week. And you mean it. Your left ear's a little deaf now, 30 years of truck engines and open window wind. You know the inside of 31 different Oklahoma motels by heart. Your emergency contact has been the same person for 19 years. They knew what they signed up for. Mostly. Nobody fully signs up for this. You sign up for a version of it, and then the version keeps going. And somewhere right now, there's a 16-year-old in a basement Ardmore, Tulsa, some flat little town in Kansas, checking a free weather app with a folder named something they'll be embarrassed about later. Eating something red out of a bag, with a fork, so it doesn't stain the notebook. They've never heard of the protocol. They've never heard of El Reno. They've never heard of Marcus. And that, right there, is exactly how it starts. The reason you became the best Stormchaser alive, and the reason you'd give every bit of it back? Same reason. You just gotta decide which version of that sentence you're telling today. 34 years in Tornado Alley. 42 papers. Your protocol in every serious program in the country. The scholarship, the radar fleet, 23 meteorologists who got their first close-up because you taught them where to stand. And one guy who didn't make it, whose name is on a building, whose instincts are running around inside a 28-year-old from Nebraska who orders the same patty melt he did. That's the whole inventory. That's the ledger. $12 still outstanding. If you want to ride along while the next generation drives face first into the sky, subscribe, and drop a comment telling me what town you're watching from. The storm's still coming. It does not care what you expected. It never did.